Rolling. Come on, Nate. There you go.
There he goes.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, copies, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace from the West Coast, and we actually have a very special edition of Between the Ropes for you today. I am joined by some very, very great wrestlers. They've had multiple years in the wrestling industry. That's right. Number one, he's known as the ladies' man, Chris Casanova. How is it going?
It's going good, brother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And then, of course, let's not forget the wild thing, Rob Wilds. How's it going tonight?
What? Where? Where's that guy?
Is that Rick Vaughn?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, Rick Vaughn. Woo! And then, of course, we still have Sarge Jr. How you doing?
Doing good. How's everyone else doing?
And then we all know him as Mess Around Dave. How you doing?
Mess around.
I'm good. Thanks.
You know what? We are ready to get this started. But before we get going on asking these guys some questions and some interviewing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to let Rob Wilds and Chris tell us a little bit about what they do besides making guest appearances on shows. So, wild thing, Rob Wilds, you go ahead and start out.
What do? We do whatever the hell we want to do. That's right. You see right here? We do what we want to do. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to do a little gimmick for you guys right off the bat. Now, me and Chris have been, you take the two of us, we got over 40 years in the wrestling business. We have tag teamed, we have feuded, and now we do our podcast in honor of our great fallen friend, Michael Porter, called Wrestle Shoots.
All right. Chris, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, besides that, such a crazy busy schedules, I also dabble a little in real estate as well.
Yeah.
So actually I just got back from a showing. And that's on top of Wrestle Shoot. That's what else I do. Well,
I love it. So if you guys are ready to rumble and get this party started, we have some very serious questions that we'd like to ask you.
Chris, are they calling us out?
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
so.
I think they're calling us out. All right, let's do this.
We are calling you guys out. We are calling you out right now. Right now, we're doing this. All right. And the first question that we're going to ask you, Rob, I'm going to start with you.
That's the best way to go.
Exactly. Who is better? Who was the better in-ring performer? Was it indeed you or was it Chris?
I think as far as having the biggest mouth and the most gimmick and flash of balls, it was me. But hold for hold, Chris is definitely the superior actual wrestler.
Oh, Chris, would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly, Rob was he was the mouth of the group. He got us over everything. Yeah, I was definitely more the technical. Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. I mean,
but you know what? You can put me over a little bit.
But, honestly, I'll tell you what, though. Rob's got, just like I have, Rob's got great psychology in the ring, and he gets it all the way. So not a lot of people can match up to him with that.
That's like really important, the psychology thing. A lot of people go out there and they're like, oh, I know 97 moves. Oh, yeah? Well, I'll bet you we can get over with 10 moves in the right order for the right reason. And we won't get hurt tonight.
All right, well,
Yeah.
Rob, we actually have a comment for you on the side here that somebody was actually saying you look like Jesse the Body.
Well, let me tell you something, man.
Guys,
Let me tell you, the Twin Towers were brought down by thermite paint. And I live in Mexico right now, but I'm a Mexican who believes it's all thermite paint. Man, I make fun of Jesse Ventura every chance I get. That dude's a clown.
All right,
I live in Mexico.
well, we're definitely going to get into some more of those names. But before we do that, Sarge, what question do you have?
Mine was with Chris. You kind of let Rob Wilds take the lead in your tag team match against Jimmy Snuka. You're getting beat up on the outside, man. What the heck?
you know, man, I was simply distraction, man. I played a more of an important role in that than anybody thinks. I was taking care of Jimmy while Rob was taking care of business inside. So
And
that's why it's tag team wrestling. That was tag team wrestling.
What really
That's all I
sucks
in the team.
What really sucks about that video online was there was another video that somebody edited in, and we can't find it, but it said after the pin, it said what you didn't see. So when Chris was outside tussling with Snuka, our manager, Rick Michaels, jumps up on the apron, getting his mouth involved, and then Tonga Kid grabbed him. He threw me the belt, and it wasn't a work, boy. I kissed Tonga Kid across his forehead. Boom!
Bink.
With authority, so much so it left an indent of the crown.
Yeah, the say was a
in
dent right in his head there. Yeah.
And that's really
awesome.
what it was. I mean, that's only because he gave me that splash from Absolute Hell. Or that avalanche. Boom!
Yeah, you
That
come
is
with it,
awesome.
I tell you that.
I love that. Mess
That
around.
was, that was actually our very first time we ever tag teamed, was that match.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think
History
another
was
one
being
that night, too.
made.
Mess around. What question you got?
My question for you guys is who or what inspired you to become wrestlers?
Oh, shit.
Man.
After you, Chris.
Well, honestly, I would say it have to be Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. When I was a little kid growing up, I absolutely idolized those guys, all of them. I always loved being the bad guy, the heel. Rick was definitely an inspiration for me growing up being a pro wrestler. Probably a little Bret Hart as well. I mean, maybe Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. I think those guys, Rick Rude, those guys were definitely inspirations. In fact, I got some of my Chris Casanova gimmick from Rick Rude. So kind of a little cross between Ric Flair / Rick Rude.
All right, Rob.
All right, are you asking who or what?
Your
Either
inspiration.
Mhm.
for
Well,
getting in the
my
wrestling.
my inspiration was I was
You can
just
say me if you want. That's okay.
I was just little and I was in it before you, dude.
At 2
I was-
years, but okay.
I was about that big, and my pops and some of the neighborhood dads were watching wrestling on TV, and I stumbled out and I saw Hogan coming in hot on Piper, and I sat and watched the whole show. Then I watched the next show, and I was hooked, man. The superheroes and the supervillains and just doing battle that no humans can possibly do. You can't run up and smash somebody in the mouth 5 times, and they're going to block it and smash you back 5 times. To me, that was DC really happening, man. And I just looked at my dad. I was young. I said, that's what I'm going to do. And he patted me on the head. Oh, of course, son, you can do whatever you want. Much to his dismay, I did it.
Probably the back of his mind saying, no, don't do it.
Oh, he's like, oh, the kid's probably going to be, a truck driver or something.
All right, so we actually have a question for both of you guys from one of our viewers who were saying, and we'll go ahead and we'll start with Chris on this one too. Who have you met in current WWE that is still wrestling?
Independent scene? That's
No, currently
No.
in WWE.
And WWE.
Wow.
Moxley.
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. Wyatt, Moxley. Is Sheamus still there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Sheamus.
He's been in and out. Yeah. We could say John Cena.
But John's not still there.
Yeah, he comes back once in a while.
Yeah.
Actually, he's
Yeah,
still there. I
we
think he's
used
still
to
under
know-
contract.
We used to know Johnny back when he was the prototype, man. I mean, we've known that guy forever. We watched him
Yeah.
come up fast.
Nice.
So is John Cena the nicest guy, like people say?
Absolutely.
When people say you
100%.
meet John Cena, they go, he's such a nice guy. He's a stellar dude, just a genuine,
Yeah.
all around, hey, man,
To absolutely everybody he meets, Johnny is the kind of wrestler that all of us wish that we could be, not financially, just personally.
Yeah. He's like that Captain America of wrestling,
Yeah.
the good
Yeah.
guy, in real life. Like, hey, everything's great. Like, he's that genuine of a person. Yeah, if I had to compare somebody.
That's absolutely right. Yep.
So one of our viewers want to know if you guys met Goldberg.
Well, yeah, back when he was
I
in the
have not.
Sacramento Surge. But we had a little bit of a head bump with Goldberg because I was out on an injury, so I was working at a bowling alley as the mechanic in the back. And I was out front hitting on some girl, and old Bill shows up in his Sacramento Surge jacket, his Sacramento Surge hat, and
All
tells her,
jacked up.
turn on this lane for me, give me some shoes. And she tries to give him a price. He's like, I'm not paying, I'm Bill Goldberg. And I started laughing. I said, dude, you're a fucking mark, man. Just go. If you're not going to pay, then just leave. Don't harass this girl who's making minimum wage. Pay the girl or bounce.
Yeah.
And he got mad and slammed down money on the counter and went bold for a little while. And then later on that night, I went to this nightclub called the Aqua, I think it was, in Sacramento. And Bill ended up getting the hell slapped at him by one of his teammates for being too much of a jerk. But then I met Bill, later on down the line again, and his whole attitude had changed. So I think going to the power plant probably humbled him.
So,
Oh,
Chris,
absolutely.
you're saying you never met him, Chris?
I have not, no.
That would be interesting. I think that would be interesting to meet Goldberg because I have heard mixed reactions about the guy. I've heard like 50-50 where people say that he's kind of a dick when you meet him, but then the other half that says he's a nice guy when you meet him. So I never know what side to go on. Is he nice or is he mean?
Well, he's a person. So he's going to have good and bad days, just like anybody.
Sure. Absolutely.
Except John Cena. That dude always has good days. He's always nice to everybody. It's amazing.
All right, Sarge. Sarge, did you have a question?
Yeah, so we just had an interview with Preston Steele last week. And
Nice.
I know you guys had one also. What were your takes with Preston?
Nice
What was
dude.
our what?
Where was your intakes with them? Like,
I love Preston, man. He's
He's
another
real.
one of-
He's real.
Yeah, and another one of those genuinely very nice people to everybody. And man, he was a hell of a doink.
But he's going
Right.
to tell you like it is, though. I mean, like I said, he's very real, so something's on his mind, and
Yeah.
either it's good or bad, or you're doing something. He's going to let you know. I mean, remember the show we did with over in Pittsburgh, and
Yeah.
I can't remember the kid that was in the back, and I don't know, the kid was complaining about something, and Preston just went over there and sat down with him and said, "Look, man, what are you
This
complaining
is what
about?"
it is. Go home if you don't like it.
And he talked to him for like 15, 20 minutes. He set him straight, though. But I mean, he let him know what was up. But he also he knows how to, I guess, present it. Oh,
Well, I think that Preston's just such because he was a cop for so long, so he's already got that menacing that he could put out on the table if he wants to intimidate you before the conversation even starts. I would think.
yeah, exactly.
But no, I love Preston. He's
Great.
So, Chris, were you ever a promoter too, just like Rob was, or was that just Rob?
Yeah, we were partners.
Yep.
All right, so on the promoting scene, how difficult is it to promote a show and get everything going and make sure everything goes smooth? How tough is that?
Well, being an independent promoter, I think a promoter in all aspects is you always got to be prepared for the unexpected. Things can happen at a drop of the dime. You're like, lights can go out, or the talent's late, or the ring's not going up, and just all a bunch of shit, excuse my language, that can happen all the time. And I think you always have to be prepared to have a plan B or even plan C. But one of the things, I guess, is dealing with the talent, man. A lot of them are crying fucking babies, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a job. I got to do this. I'm not this high in the card. It's like,
I jumped last week.
yeah. So it's definitely got its challenges. Being a worker is a lot easier than being a promoter. It's like I think it's like babysitting. I think I'm gonna call this babysitting. Make sure everything's going as a whole.
Yeah.
And let's just say you probably don't make enough for it to be worth it, right? When you're trying to promote all these shows.
You're gonna have bad turnouts sometimes, and you're gonna have great turnouts. I mean, yeah, sometimes those bad turnouts, you're like, fuck, what am I doing this for? All right, just go back to working.
You get these whiny little locker room bitches in the back who are crying about, I don't want to do the job, or why am I not higher up on the card? They're trying to politic, and there's not enough money that you guys are making to be politicking. So how about this? Grab your gear and bounce, man. Because we're not of these new guys coming out where they're of the very, let's talk it out era. We're from the let's pound it out era. You know, you guys don't want to play ball, you're going to leave. And if you don't want to leave, you're still leaving.
All right, so we actually have another question on the screen for you guys that says, how do you book the talent?
Oh, wow. Good one.
Well, a lot of times they would come to us, but you hear the boys talking, in the back about some guys who are breaking out who are new on the scene. So, we'll go scout it out. But in our territory, everybody knew us. So when we showed up, they were like, oh, hey, Wiles and Casanova's here. They're here to scout somebody. So they'd all start really working harder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mess around. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I listened to some of your podcasts, and I love your impressions of like Dusty Rhodes and did.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, that's his best one.
I thought those were great. Do you have any other impersonations you do of wrestlers?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Cheeky.
We'll get to that. See,
Okay.
I can call up a radio station and say, who is this? God damn it, pal, this is Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
I love it.
And some of my boys wanted to, Vince, what's on Cheeky Baby Takeover? Oh, this is Iron Sheik to talking to all the great fans of the United States. Hey, Cheeky Baby, why don't you just sit down and let Dusty take over, if you will? This is the American Dream coming at you live, baby. Yeah, you know what, Dusty? Everybody's heard just about enough for you. They want to hear from the guy because the cream always rises. Yeah, and the macho man.
Yeah.
God damn it, Randy. Quit overpowering everybody.
Oh my gosh.
I don't do impersonations, so don't ask me.
Oh, Chris, come on. You can't let Rob Wild show you up like that. You got to do something.
You know who you can do really well?
But Honky Tonk Man?
No, that's right. Hey, don't you try to take over my Honky Tonk Man stick, Jack. God fucking damn it.
I love Honky stories, by the way. He does great stories.
He does do great stories. But you do a really great impersonation of Chris Casanova.
Oh, Chris Casanova.
Hey, you do that guy great. That's jabroni. I mean, that guy.
That guy is a jabroni.
Yeah, I hear that he's been running around with the Black Diamond.
So my question. So yeah, I was gonna say my question here is because Rob, you do an excellent Vince McMahon imitation here. So let me ask you guys this, because I know Preston Steele said that he met Vince McMahon. Did you guys actually meet Vince McMahon himself? And what was that like when you met him?
What amazes me about Vince is he meets so many people all the time, but he always remembers your name. That's crazy. I see Vince one time.
I said hi to him. That was it. He said hi to me, and that was pretty much it.
But he did say hi back. He doesn't
he
doesn't just look at you. He doesn't go, well, goddamn, somebody get security over here. That guy waved at me. You're fired.
I like that.
No, I think Vince is good people. People like, you get all these guys that he fired. They go on these little shoot interviews. And, Vince McMahon's a son of a bitch. And, just because he fired you doesn't make him a son of a bitch. That just means that he fired you. And that happens. We all get fired.
Business is business. Personal is personal.
That's right.
You got to separate the two.
All right, so of course you guys have another question. Do you guys enjoy more of the storyline to follow or the shoot matches?
Well, everybody loves the storyline. What we don't like to do is try to can everything out when people want to try to set up 60 moves we're going to do. And I mean, why don't you speak on that one, Chris?
I honestly, I think the storyline. I mean, I think this tells a lot. Of course, you got to tell the story too. I mean, there's matches that people don't tell the story real well. So if you can tell the story, you could definitely extend that over 3 to 4 to 5 matches, even like 3 to 5 months if you do it right. Absolutely, the storyline.
Yeah, maybe I didn't follow the question, because to me a shoot match is just like, this is the finish, and we'll see you out there. Then we're just gonna do the damn thing when we get out there.
I think they're meaning like an actual shoot.
Like
that's
it
what the
get
question was,
down
right?
and dirty.
Yeah, that's what the question was. Do you
Okay.
like to follow the storyline or just a shoot match?
If somebody wants to shoot, we'll shoot.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta shoot, but yeah, definitely a storyline, in my opinion, if it's told right.
Well, that's the thing. If you can't tell a story, then you're in the wrong business. I don't care if you could do 50 moves. If they don't make sense and you can't tell the story, then who gives a shit about your moves?
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
Sarge, did you have any questions?
Yes, this is for Chris. I gotta know, what is a 40-man garage rumble from the APW?
Ah, yeah.
A 40-bag garage rumble. Wow. Well, it was in a garage.
Oh, I called it. Yes, I was right. I said I bet it took place in a garage. I'm so glad I got that right.
Come on. It was in a warehouse. They called the garage.
Yeah, they called the garage a warehouse, but it was like a Royal Rumble setting though, and there was like 40 people, so it's basically they should call it more like a Royal Rumble in the garage, not Battle Royal. But yeah, that's what it was.
So they came out one after another, not everybody.
Yeah,
at
like
once.
a minute and a half or something. That someone else would come out, and yeah, 40 people is like 5 goddamn people in a Battle
Yeah,
Royal.
especially to start. Jesus.
Yeah, but no, they had to spread that shit out for a while.
And I do believe that was the same night that AJ Styles was on the card. I do believe that was the same night that Styles had a match. And so I'm assuming you got to meet AJ Styles.
Yeah, great guy. Great guy. Yeah, hell of a worker. Probably one of the best right now.
I mean, AJ and Chris Daniels and Frankie Kazarian and all them, back when Daniel Bryant was the American Ninja, they were all part of the California crowd, so we all knew each other coming up.
So this is one question that I've been dying to ask, because for me personally, when you look at wrestling today, it seems to be a lot about big men. Like that's what they like, the big, strong, like four move guys. But me, I like the AJ Styles type and the Daniel Bryan type and Seth Rollins, all the high flyers and stuff like that. So do you guys like the big guys, or do you like the acrobatic high flyers?
Well, I think there's a place for everybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think so. I think those big guys are ultimately people want to see them, but I think people want to see the excitement of the smaller guys flying around and doing all that. So I think there's a place for everybody, honestly. But me as a personal favorite, I think overall, I go back to the story. You got to tell a great story, whether you're a big guy or high flyer or whatever. The story is told, it's going to be over. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't have a match, a whole card full of just a big bunch of big lumbering goofs who all they're good at is just pounding the bejesus out of each other. There's no actual wrestling. You got to get some wrestlers in there. You get the power guys, you get the girls, you mix it all up. Throw some midgets in, because I tell you what, everybody loves midgets.
Yeah. They do.
They do.
Some of our best shows when we're promoting were midgets.
We did a show where we had Nash in the main event, and it wasn't a great crowd. It was an okay crowd, but the very next month we booked Short Sleeve Samson and Todd Stone in the main event, and those dudes double outdrew Kevin Nash.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was packed. Yeah, midgets.
Yeah.
They just love midgets. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but it's just like a nice novelty.
So you guys do have 2 questions from our viewers here. Number 1, have you guys met The Rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what was he? Because The Rock's been one of my all-time favorites, and people call him one of the all-time greats. So is he
Sure.
like a good dude overall?
Yeah. Absolutely. He's up there in that John Cena category, except Rock does have bad days, and sometimes when his bad days will come out, but not the four. Like there was this guy we knew, this little jabroni, nobody, barely trained wrestler who was with us, and we're walking out of the garage, and for some reason this guy gets stupid and goes, "Oh yeah, Slugbug Green, huh?" And he gives Rocky a little dap, and Rock spun around and just blasted him in the shoulder and said, "I don't play that fucking game." And Cooley's got dead arm. He's like, "Now I know." Okay. And me and Chris are like, "Jesus, Wayno, calm the hell down, man. You're gonna break this little guy."
But he's very business though. Like he's all about business. And look where he is now. Look where he's now. I mean, that's how he got there. He had a vision and he followed it and he stuck to the business.
And he's funny. That guy's always got a good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that every time I've seen him just in a match in general or just one of his punchlines, they were fantastic. He always had a great punchline. And so I'm like, how does he do that? Just right off the top of his head, just with all these funny things going on, he could just rag on anybody anytime. And so that bringing to that punchline, you actually have a fan that's asking, did you guys get hit with any of his punchlines? Did he do it to you guys?
No. We never worked him.
No.
I mean, I guess if you're talking about personal zingers, then yeah, he's blazed off us, but whatever he throws out, he could take back.
Yeah.
Like there's one time he came walk out, he went to the men's room and I followed him. He comes out first and I come out second, and I was like, "Hey, why do they call you the Rock instead of the mini cock?" And he said, "Oh, Wild Thing, you better be careful because your sister doesn't think so."
Oh. That's pretty good. And
He's a cool guy.
And then the other question you guys have is what was your favorite time, or I should say era, and what promotion was it and why?
You mean that we worked or the business in general?
Yeah, that you worked.
The thing about me and Chris was after that Snuka and Tonga Kid match you referred to.
That's 2002, right? 3?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, something like
2000
that.
something.
Early 2000s.
But like we were, like Michaels and Jannetty were. We weren't the tag team that would, okay, I'll see you in LA, and then I get in my car and he gets in his. No, we drive together, we stay together, we eat together, we piss together. We did everything together. So we were like, the Apocalypse was a real deal tag team. So there's not like a favorite promotion or a favorite era because we made a hell of a lot of fun for ourselves when we were living on the road.
It's what you make of it.
But I did enjoy working for Kirk White over at Big Time, yeah.
Kirk was great, yeah.
And Alex Knight, too. Alex Knight in L.A., he did good things. Verd Langdon.
No, they paid
Buffalo Jim, that scumbag, he paid great. Boy, he was a dirty bastard, though.
Yeah.
But it was in Vegas, so he made sure we had fun every time we went out there.
So I hear you guys are best friends with Conan.
I'm jumping to the ring, shouting, "No delay, man!" Fuck you, Charles Astronaut. You can kiss my white ass, both cheeks. No, I'm not a big fan of Conan, of Mr. Max Moon.
He goes down to the being a promoter. I was mentioning something earlier about the talent bitching about jobbing. Yeah. Let's throw Conan in that fucking mix right there.
Yeah, but we did that because we didn't like. See, one of my first shows that I promoted, I booked Conan to wrestle this phenomenal talent, a third generation wrestler called the Hustler. And Hustler calls me, goes, "Hey, you know what would really mess everybody up is if I went over on Conan." That's brilliant. I didn't even think about it. Brilliant. Perfect. Yeah, you go over on Conan. So Conan showed up, and we told him he was going to go over, and he put on his boo-boo face and kind of sulked a little bit. But at the end of the day, he did what he's going to do, or Hustler would have just pounded him into grease. Right, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
What would have happened if old Charles and Ashnoff tried to swerve Hustler?
Well, I think what you guys were talking about earlier, talking about shoot style matches. Yeah, that would have been a huge shoot, and it'd been bad news for Conan because Hustler was a bad dude.
But you know, he did what he does in every promotion, in every show, everywhere he goes. He limps, or he sells the shoulder. Oh, my back, I'm selling. I don't want to work that hard tonight. He says that to every promoter every time. So we booked him again because he helped us sell out the building the first time. The second time was in an area where there was a lot of migrant Mexican undocumented farm workers in this area. So out in Mexico, you know, Conan is Hogan. His face was on their lottery ticket out there. So Conan's a real somebody in Mexico. So we book him, and he shows up, and me and Chris and Hustler decided they were going to have a rematch. And at the last minute, we decided Hustler's going to win again. Well, he really didn't like that, right?
No.
Why don't you pick up some of the story?
He of course he started bitching about his knee again, and he goes, I already tried job the first time, and I don't understand why you're jobbing the second time, and blah blah blah, and I don't feel like I want to work very hard tonight. I was like, well, that's great, I don't feel like I want to pay your full entire payout for the night. So right. If you want to work, I don't want to work too hard. He goes, oh fuck that, blah blah blah. He kind of calmed down a little bit after that, and then of course Rob, I can take you right back to the airport right now. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I said, dude, we could just take that money back and kick your ass back to Southwest, homie, and we'll just tell people Conan didn't show up. And then these kids, these young guys who are fresh in the business are so excited to meet him, and he's just fabing and being a dick to everybody, and that's when those loose wires in my brain clicked and sparked, and I lost my mind on Conan. I'm back there screaming, and I'm telling you, you're not going to make it to the match chat. I'm going to beat the shit out of you back here. You can keep the money. And Big Warpath, and Big Hustler, and Chris, and some of our guys come running back to grab a hold of me. Because by this time, Charles Ashenhoff realizes he's about to get a real serious ass whooping. So then he just spent the rest of the night sulking in the very back of the locker room in the corner, just sitting there pouting all night. But I'll tell you what, he did the goddamn job that night.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He heard me tell Hustler, yo, man, if you don't want to do business, you make him do business. And he said, okay. And Hustler was a big boy. I used to call him Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean.
The white version of Mr. Clean.
He was just ripped out. He had the eyebrow piercing, and the bald head, and the tattoo. And wow, look at you big beast.
Mess around. Is there any questions that you have?
Yeah, what's the worst bump you've ever taken in the ring?
Oh, God.
Ooh.
I jumped off a 30-foot balcony once onto somebody through a table. Doug Damien threw me off the top of the bleachers with fury. That flaming table spot that I did, that was a bad idea. That was not the way it should have gone.
I think I'd take one of my Jap Zuplexes, but...
No, dude, your Japs were stiff, but I knew what I was in for. If I didn't tuck my chin and I got my bell rung, that was on me. But when I'm crashing through a pyramid of tables that are on fire, I should have thought that one through.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, looking back on it, it's good. And, Doug Damien, I grew up with that guy. We went to wrestling school together.
Yeah.
And his dad was dying of cancer. So I wanted his dad to see Doug win a championship. So I was going to drop the hardcore title to him that night.
Oh, Bleacher Story.
Yep. And that was a rough night for me. And one of the spots was we were going to fight up the bleachers all the way to the top. And I just said, just give me a little bit of a whip. And I'll take a beel, boom, I'll hit the stairs. Then you could drag me back down into the ring, and that'll get that whole part of the bleachers really emotionally invested in this match. So we fight all the way to the top, and we get to the top. I said, all right, let's do it. And he grabbed a hold of my arm and said, whoa, hard. So I'm on my tiptoes, dancing down these bleachers, and ironically, I hit a flyer with my face on the whole thing. and slipped on it, and bam, I was airborne now, flying over the bleachers.
Free falling there.
And I see the bottom bleacher lined up, the bottom step lined up with my head. Like, I'm going to break my neck here. So I start doing the airplane spin with my arms and just trying to get a little bit more, tuck my chin, get over it, and just barely cleared that bleacher. Now, what I didn't know was fighting up there, I got a red jelly bean stuck to my neck. So when I hit the ground, it went flying, and everybody thought that was like a tooth or a piece of my tongue. And what this holy shit or that's hardcore shit I was trying to get, nothing. It was one huge gasp. And all you heard was Doug's dad go, "Jesus Christ, Doug, that's Rob! What are you doing?" So Doug's walking down the bleachers. He's trying to get his heel heat, but he ain't getting nothing. The crowd is mortified. And now the ref is standing next to me, and Doug gets down to the bottom, and he says, "What are we going to do?" The ref goes, "I'm just going to call the match." I said, "What?" Now I'm climbing up Doug's tights. I'm like, "You son of a bitch. You're not calling nothing. We got 10 more minutes." And then, we finished the match. But I felt that for about a month. That was probably that or the flaming tables, because that shit, I got burns everywhere. That was a bad idea.
Wow.
Believe it or not, jumping off a 30-foot balcony on somebody through a table. That was
felt
breezy.
a lot better.
Yeah, that was breezy, man. It was like a perfect impact. It was luck. Because I'm in the air doing my hang time thinking, "Oh, Jesus, somebody could really die right now." But no, it went great. What's your worst one?
Oh man, I have no bumps that really stand out, but I took a chair shot one time in a hardcore match, working this guy right here. And
fucking Polani.
Yeah, so
yeah.
My first
Backyarder.
hardcore experience, and so it was Rob and I were supposed to work the match. Well, this douchebag fucking promoter.
But real quick, but we'll get right back to that. Before the match, because me and Chris had known each other for a couple years.
A couple of years at least, yeah.
We hadn't worked each other yet, and he doesn't do hardcore. And all he hears is people going, "Man, if you're going to get hardcore with Wilds, you better be ready to get hardcore." So he's nervous. And I'm like, "Chris, I swear to God, I'm not going to hurt you tonight, man. It's going to be great."
Oh, yeah.
So we went to the ring real quick. I said, "Let's just push it around a little bit, and we'll
Working
go over
our
a couple
shit out,
of things."
yeah.
So now take over where you were.
So that douchebag promoter saw us doing our thing. He's like, "Oh, fuck, man." And that guy was a self-Marcus. He was in the show as well. So
yeah, he booked himself with Hoovy.
Yeah, with Hoovy. And so he throws this garbage backyarder who had no training whatsoever, like barely any training. And so we get in our match, and what was it, about 5 minutes into it, tops?
No, it was immediately he blew everything. Like
Yeah,
as soon as the bell rang.
Yeah. So Rob and I are doing something. This guy grabs a chair, like a steel chair, and my back is turned to him. And generally, you want to hit somebody with the chair, you want him on the back. No. This guy took
And
the chair,
you want to hit them with the seat.
the seat part. This guy hit me right in the back of the head with the tip of the chair, like as hard as he could. And my head, and I didn't know at the time, right? But holy fuck, man. I thought I was going to pass out, man. I had a fucking concussion like nobody's business, man. And so I'm on the ground, and Rob's working on me. He gets me.
I put you in the figure four. Yeah.
Literally like that. Rob's like, I get up in my head like that. Rob's like, "You're bleeding." I'm like,
I said, "Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
You are really bleeding."
I was like, "What the hell, dude?" And literally, blood just coming all down my arm and blood just everywhere, dude. I said, "Fuck that, dude." I turned Rob over.
She said, "Get off me."
I fucking kicked him off.
All right.
I grabbed that chair and literally I beat the fucking shit out of that guy, dude. And I just swung that shit, dude, until he just kept going down to the ground. I probably hit that guy maybe 10 times with a chair like that. And I didn't care, man. I was swinging away, man. And
but his bell was rang. He was very concussed when this was happening.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he didn't
sure.
realize how much damage he was actually doing to this guy. I had to push Chris away, like actually shut him. Go, get out of here.
And that guy's just laying there. Was it Joe Polani, right? Is that what his name is?
Polani, yeah. And he's laying there, and now he's bleeding profusely out of his head. Looking at me going, "Please, Rob, I can't." And I looked at him and shook my head and said, "You stupid bastard." So I gave him a boot to the ribs hard, broke one of his ribs. Chris cracked his head open. And I just we were only in this for 5 minutes before I just snatched Chris up and gave him my finisher and said, we're going home. We got to keep you closed up, dude. This is bad.
Yeah, I had 10 staples put in my head for that, but yeah, it was good times.
And that's what happens when you fuck with Wild Thing.
Yeah, see? It's your fault, damn it. You said I wasn't going to get hurt, and I fucking got hurt.
I know. I was so upset that night. All night. I promised him he wouldn't get hurt.
So you guys are out here. So you guys are out here. You guys are talking about a little bit of, some hardcore action going on. We know that Wild Thing, Rob Wilds, was all into hardcore because you were a multi-time hardcore champion. But speaking of hardcore, there's a certain individual out there, or I should say two of them, that are deemed hardcore. Number one, because one of our viewers actually asked this. They said, have you ever had an encounter with Terry Funk, hardcore?
Terry. No, I wish. Oh, man, I would have loved. See, the problem, all these hardcore things you're talking about, I wasn't multiple-time hardcore champion because I just loved it so goddamn much. I just happened to be good at it because there's so much psychology that has to go into a hardcore match.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just throwing weapons around, and none of it is believable. It's not believable that I would take a chair and a ladder and a garbage can and a golf club and a bat to Chris, and then I'm going to beat him with an armbar. That doesn't make any sense. So you got to escalate the violence, and both of us knew how to do that. But it ended up biting us in the ass because we both kept getting hardcore pushes everywhere. And yeah, hardcore sucked. But no, I would have loved to work Terry. Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, that would have been great.
All right, so we actually have another question for you guys.
Okay, ask the question.
I know you guys are just really popular today, like super popular.
Well, this is my Terry Funk, and thank you for making it so popular today. Hey, how you doing, Chris?
That's a great impression.
How you doing over there, Chris?
I'm doing just fine.
Okay, good. I love you, brother.
So
hobble my leg here.
So I think this question is for like the current divas that are currently here. How many of the current divas have you actually met?
I mean, besides Charlotte, like, do you know Natty, Chris?
I don't know Natty. No, I met Charlotte too, real briefly, but no, I do not know Natty. I wish I had met. She's great.
We know Nina Jax from working Rick Bassman's gimmicks out there.
Nia Jax, you mean?
Yeah.
Nia Jax, yeah. I like that. Jeez, Rob doesn't even know their name. That's ridiculous.
Hey, I get hit in the head with a lot of
hair shots for this guy right here.
Yeah. I've been through too many tables. You're lucky I remembered to be here. Wait, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
So I see you have some titles behind you. Is that from some titles that you actually won, or is that just?
Yeah. Got the Canadian Heavyweight Championship from way back in the day, but they retired, so they gave me the belt. I got this here little gimmick. Was this? Could you see it?
Yeah, a little bit.
This
shoulder, man, like this.
This was interesting. This one, the Supernatural Wrestling Federation, a once-a-year gimmick. Where myself and Doug Damien went out there as the Reapers. That we ended up getting to keep the tag team belts too. But yeah, most of the time on the indies, these guys just used WWE, WCW replica belts and got out modeling paint. And made of their own, so to speak. It was very few times when you get guys who actually have their own belts crafted.
Put some money into that for sure.
But I mean, I was asked on a podcast a few months ago, well, how many titles have you had? I was like, man, that's a stupid ass question. I don't know how many titles I've had. Who can remember? Because it's not like we're going out there and really beating somebody down and taking the belt from them. It's just a prop you got to carry for this match. This is just what I'm doing tonight. But tomorrow night at the next spot, I'm not their champ. But these guys, man, they get their heads wrapped into it. They just think, oh, yeah, I'm really the champ. Take him outside, beat the hell out of him, and see who's the real champ is.
All right, Sarge, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, this is for Rob. I know you have one of your favorite promotions down in California, the NAW.
NAW, okay.
It looks like they were calling you unprofessional. How did that all happen?
Well, that's what I was telling you guys about before we went on the air, man, because that was after the me and Chris were just going to hang them up for a little while. We were going to heal up. We were going to move off to Texas, do some business out there, outside of wrestling. And it just got ugly with them guys. A lot of them were very jealous of us. They got pissed when they saw us getting the push that they didn't get. But the owner of the NAW was Mike Rain, and he was in our Apocalypse clique, so we couldn't understand why he was allowing all this crap to happen. But finally, we did our match. They were trying to fuck it up because they're just jealous little whiny bitches. And we did our match. We were pissed. We just grabbed our gear and left, expecting to go home. Well, across the street from this nightclub was a little Irish pub. So we went over there and started doing shots of Jack Daniels. Got to the point where I said, "Hey, Chris, I think the show's over." He said, "Yeah?" I said, "Yeah, let's go say hi." So we went over there with every intention to fight all of them, whoever. And yeah, that's where that whole he's unprofessional came from, because we were going to go over there and crush him. But of course, out of all these 15 guys that wanted to kick our ass so bad, there's two of us. And they couldn't seem to get past one average size bouncer who was out back of the club, who just kind of literally, he just stuck one arm out by the back gate. And they're like, "Oh, we can't seem to get through." Well, that's because you're a bunch of pussies. That's why you can't get through. That douchebag, Rick Luxury, he climbs up on this fence like he's going to come over. And I gave him a wide berth. Yeah, Chris?
Oh, yeah. You gave me a lot
of room.
Over.
I'm not going to hit you until you're standing up. I'm a gentleman fighter.
But it goes back too farther than that, though. I mean, because we booked a lot of those guys on our show, and
we fired a lot of them.
A lot of them, and a lot of them would show up late. They actually would, bitch about jobbing and just taking liberties on other talent in the matches, and just being real unprofessional. And we got tired of their shit after a while, and they wanted to be the promoter,
right,
versus us.
They wanted to write their own card.
No, this is the way it is. You're booked on the show. If you don't like it, leave. And we should probably fire them in the beginning, but we gave them too many chances. And I think it just escalated quite a bit, and it was a lot of heat out there, and they had a sour taste in their mouth because we fired them.
And they're right in the sense of being unprofessional, because it was very unprofessional for me to keep them on the payroll after their behavior, after the way they would just disrespect the show, disrespect everything. And I would keep them on the payroll. That was very unprofessional. So any of you NAW boys who got something to say about me, eat it, dick.
Chris, this question is going to start with you.
All right.
This is actually a popular question that a lot of people often ask. Who is your who would be on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Like of all time?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put Ric Flair on there. It's number one. Rick Rude is on there.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna throw Hulk Hogan on there. Okay. And last, Undertaker.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. I think those two guys, Hulk Hogan and Undertaker, they don't get enough credit for being great workers. I truly, they get the psychology. They're great workers, and they only do like 5 or 6 moves. But when they do those moves, they have the crowd in their hands, at the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
Hell of entertainers. I mean, I'm sure everybody's popped over Undertaker.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hogan. And they can work anybody. I mean, you go to some matches in Japan. Hogan working Great Muta. Those are some of Hulk's best matches against the Great Muta.
He got to actually wrestle. He wasn't limited by what Vince was letting him do.
Yeah, and he's good. Like I put him up there, so yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, because I've heard in the past too that people would consider putting Hulk out there, but then people were like, from some of the comments he's made in the past and everything else, people are like, I don't know if I could do that. But you can't take away from what he's done in the business. You really can't.
Well, what do you mean by things he said? You talking about that N-word comment?
Yeah.
Man, the hell with that. All right, Booker T says it. Booker T said it to Hogan. Fuck that. This is Hulk Hogan. This is Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Undertaker are the messiahs of the pro wrestling business. They should have a much wider berth than these marks who sit at home and just want to be critical. They just want to find something bad about everything that's good. I don't care about those guys. I don't care what they have to say. You can never take away. When they took Hogan out of the Hall of Fame, I almost puked. This is Hulk Hogan. If it wasn't for Hogan and McMahon having the courage to do the things that they did, wrestling would still be territorial and maybe even dead right now.
Oh.
So we actually have a viewer that was saying they did not expect your Rick Rude comment, Chris.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, well, go in the history of Rick Rude. That guy could work anybody. I mean, that guy had carried Ultimate Warrior through some of Warrior's greatest matches of all time.
And besides Ming, probably the toughest bastard in the business.
Yeah, he didn't play around. Rick was the real deal back in his day. But go back to some of his matches. I mean, he had great psychology. He was great on the mic. He was great in the ring, just all around, and can work anybody. Yeah, I think he doesn't get a lot of credit. I think he should have had a definitely heavyweight strap. I think they should have put it on him for a while. He never got that.
Yeah, but I think the only reason he didn't get that was because they never really knew if he was going to stay. Because Rick would get heated about not even his bad angles they tried to do, other people's bad angles. He would get heated about that and always threatened to jump.
Yeah, but regardless, he should have got it. He should have got the strap, I thought.
So we actually had a viewer that made a comment about the Hogan comment, and it was said, well, he said it twice. The first time was legit. He felt comfortable and spoke up too much. The second time was a bad spot in his life. Dude was going through so much. No excuse, but hey, Hogan is wrestling.
Yeah, he's wrestling.
Yep.
So this one goes to Rob Wild. Sue, who is your Mount Rushmore?
I think I just screamed it out in the middle of my rant. It would be it'd be Flair, Hogan, Macho Man, and Taker.
Macho Man. That's actually not one you actually hear very often.
Well, he should be. Goddamn it! Yeah, he should be the first name on everybody's list. Yeah.
Gonna snap you in half like Slim Jim.
Old Saw's ready.
Macho's great.
I got you for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of playtime.
I like it.
He's funny, man. Here's a quick Randy story.
Mm-hmm.
He was having a bad day, a very bad day. And I was very young in the business. And he comes back in the locker room and he comes walking by me and he goes, "Hey, how you doing there, buddy?" I said, "Hey, man, how you been, man?" And he goes, Wait a minute. Do me. Come on, keep doing me. So I said, "Macho Man, I would appreciate it if you never ever say do me in a locker room again. It's inappropriate. And I don't like it." And he was howling laughing. And later on, I hear, Randy, people do him so poorly, it makes him mad. He's like, "Stop talking about me, motherfucker." But when somebody does it well, he just howls laughing. All of a sudden, that's a cool guy.
Mess around. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so I've watched a few of your podcasts on Wrestle Shoot, and you guys have some amazing honky tonk man stories. Any that you haven't told on your podcast that you can tell here?
Well, I mean, I could tell the Janetti one, when we were with Janetti that we just did on the last Wrestle Shoot. It's just funny, but it's a little graphic if you want to hear it.
All right.
Okay. So we're drunk, driving, shouldn't have been doing that.
Drunk? No, never.
And Honky goes, "Look at that, goddamn it, it's Taco Bell, go." All right, cool. So I pulled to the Taco Bell, and this was in a little town called Marysville, California. It's, 40 miles north of Sacramento.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And we pull through the drive-thru. We make our big giant order. We got Chris and Janetti in the back seat, and Honky's up front with me. And we pull to the window, and this very large Mexican woman hands our food out and goes, "Oh my God, you're Honky Tonk Man!" And she was just going, "That's right, darling. How you doing there, sweet cheeks? You gonna come on to the show tomorrow?" And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm coming with my family. It's gonna be great." He goes, "All right, I can't wait to see you then. All right, sweetheart. Hey, what time do you get off work tonight?" And she goes, "Oh, 2 a.m. All right, darling, you get home safe." And we start pulling out, and he's looking through the bag to make sure all the food's there. He looks up and goes, "Well, guess I'm going to have to fuck her." And Marty pops up and goes, "Stop it. No, you're not." He goes, "Hey, we want her to bring her and all of her entire family. That'll be like 40 ticket sales tomorrow. I'll throw a little honky dick." So we get home finally after the strip club and all that nonsense. We're exhausted. And Honky goes up to his room. Next morning, he comes down, big shit eating grin for breakfast. And Marty goes, "What's got you so excited, old man?" I tapped that big girl from Taco Bell last night." Stop it. No, you did not. And he didn't. But he kept the rib going for like all through breakfast. Almost to the show. It was Marty's like, I can't believe he did that. Hey, big girls need it too. God damn it! Don't you judge me, Marty fucking Jannetty. Who are you?
He tells great stories though. Like how
Yes.
he tells it. Like and this is my favorite part about how he tells a story. He'll say something. He'll say his little punchline, and he'll just stare at you for like 10 seconds. He's waiting for your reaction. Like he's waiting for that reaction. He's like
A hard stare, a serious look through you stare.
you're like, "Oh, okay, haha." You'll laugh or say something, but that's
And if you don't, you won't hear the rest of the story. You've got to react to him, or he's done.
yeah, he's waiting for your reaction. So
Yeah.
if you want to hear the story, rest of the story, just react.
You are not feeding my ego, goddammit, so I'm not going to tell the rest of the story.
Looks like you guys have actually been through a lot on the road and
Sure.
and all kinds of promotions. You guys have been through a lot. And so a common question is when we often have so-called retired wrestlers that come on our show, we ask them and say, "What do you guys like, this era of wrestling better or the old era better? And what do you feel is the biggest difference?"
I never watch it anymore, so I don't know.
And you know what? That's actually a very common answer too. We often hear
Me too.
like Preston Steele was saying the same thing. He's like, "I don't watch it anymore because it's just not the same that it used to be."
Well, if Preston Steele
not.
if Preston Steele is listening right now, Preston, sell me your goddamn Doink outfit. Do it. Do it. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
So-
I don't watch it either.
Yeah, Chris, do you feel the same way though? Do you feel like wrestling the way it is now is definitely not even close to how it was back then?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's totally different. I just think they don't have a lot of the old schoolers writing stories anymore. They're hiring like these professional writers that are not even like wrestlers, that know jack shit about wrestling. And
Yeah,
they're writing,
screenplay writers.
Yeah, screenplay. There you go. That don't know anything about wrestling, and the stories are just awful, garbage, and a lot of times the stories don't even last. At least back in the day, the stories were actually, like I was saying earlier, the stories actually carry over. You can run a storyline for 2-3 months and keep people interested because you have some of the old schoolers writing those stories. So yeah, it's totally different. It's high flying match. It's like there's really no psychology in the matches anymore. It's
And
just
you know
kind of
what?
like. No, go ahead, Rob.
Another big thing is when Rob Wiles cuts a promo, and then Chris Casanova cuts a promo, and Preston Steele does one, Honky Tonk Man does one, Hulk Hogan does one. Every time we do a promo, they're all unique and they're suited to our character, our personality, our gimmicks. But now you get these guys going on TV cutting their promos, and every goddamn one of them sounds like it's coming from the same brain. That's because there's one jerk off sitting in the back writing a script, making them memorize the script, and then going out on TV and saying exactly how they're told to say it, and it's boring. It used to be back in the days where a superhero and a supervillain were going to fight. And now it's, the jerk off on the left side of my house and the jerk off across the street are going to go outside in their underwear and have a fist fight on Sunday. And who cares? There's no excitement and energy for it anymore.
Agree.
All right, so one of our viewers actually asked and said, do you agree with The Undertaker when he said WWE wrestlers have gotten more soft through the years?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, every time they go to the ring, they got to be careful that their vaginas aren't showing. They're cowards anymore. They're soft. They don't even go out to the bar together anymore. How you doing business if you don't at least go to the bar together? Or you don't drive together? Now they're all taking their own cars and their private planes.
Let's go sit in a hotel room and drink Red Bull or whatever.
Yeah, have some sparkling water.
Sparkling water. A lot of the newer guys are not learning how to shoot too. They're just kind of getting pushed out of wrestling school and they're just taught the moves and that's about it. They're skipping like the real legit shooting. Like when we were back in our day when we learned, we had to go through shoot classes. We had to learn how to shoot. We had to learn how to box. I mean, we had to learn how to fucking fight before they would teach us the moves.
Yep.
So I think now people are just pushing guys through school. I mean, you can be a pro wrestler like in 2 to 3 months.
I mean, I'll bet you if you went through the whole locker room, not one of them can ever say they've been bullpenned.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he means I think it's what he means by that comment.
Well, he's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you go back to, like you were saying about, the wrestlers don't go to bars anymore or nightclubs or whatever. If you remember when, I don't know if you saw this, but they even gave Hornswoggle interview and they even asked him, and Hornswoggle's like, I don't know, we go back to our rooms and play video games now because that's what it's about. So he basically came out and said that's what they do now. They go back and play video games.
And man, he goes back far enough. He should know better. He should be doing better than playing video games. No, you're supposed to sit at the bar and listen to Ric Flair and Kurt Hennig talk about the match they want to do and learning something when you're young. And when you're getting older and more experienced and you're talking to the other guys. Me and Chris, we've had our best matches from just talking to other tag teams at the bars and kicking around ideas. And then we take that idea, present it to the promoter, and he's like, oh, that's a bar idea. That sounds good. Let's do that. That's a bar idea used to mean something.
No.
All right, so when you're
headsets on.
So when you're talking about all these wrestlers in the past that could wrestle and had that it factor, right now in current wrestling today, do you actually see anybody that has that it factor? And this was asked by one of our viewers too.
I mean, if I watched it, I could probably answer that.
Roman Reigns.
Oh God, no! I was hoping you weren't going to go there. I cannot stand Roman Reigns.
He's good. He's good. I'll give you another one. Bray Wyatt's got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I like him.
Let's see who else.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman, yes. He does 5 or 6 moves, but they look good. Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I forgot about him, too.
He's
don't
great.
Don't forget about Seth frickin' Rollins.
Yeah, fucking A. Is Miz still on there? Is he still on TV?
The Miz?
Yeah.
Yes. Miz
champion.
is still on there, too.
Yeah. Is he the champ?
Yeah,
he's
he just cashed in his Money in the Bank and won the championship.
Nice. Yeah, he could be a front man. He could carry a company.
Yeah, the Miz, and I've always hated how, and I felt like it forever. And I've talked about this with Mess Around Dave forever too. I feel like for years this company has disrespected the Miz for years. I've always thought that he should have been a top tier guy in the business forever. But by putting the championship on him twice, and this is only a second run, that's probably not going to last long. I think that's pure ridiculous.
I mean, Miz don't need a belt to get over. Some guys need a belt to get over.
And I think sometimes they hold them down because sometimes I think they need that guy that doesn't have the strap to carry the company in other different directions.
Yeah,
and putting the other guys over. But you're right. I mean, he probably should have got the title a couple more times, but I think
I
Miz
just
is gonna be
hate.
fine
I
at the
hate
end of
how.
the day.
I hate how frequently they change the title anymore. Though it doesn't give any meaning to the belt when they
Yeah.
just keep changing it around 3 times in a week.
Yeah, because I don't know if you heard what the current rumors are, but the Miz just won the title. It was this last Sunday he won the belt, and now this Monday they have a current title match set up between the Miz and Bobby Lashley. And the rumors are swirling and speculating that Bobby Lashley is supposed to beat the Miz this Monday. So then it sets up a WrestleMania match between Drew McIntyre and Lashley. I'm like, the Miz would have the belt for a freaking week, and now they're already talking about having him lose it.
Why in the hell do you know that? There was a time when you would never know that. That should not be a rumor circulating online, because then who gives a good goddamn if Bobby Lashley wins the title? We all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he'd get a little heated there, man.
Right.
Because, man, what happened to the days when we actually tried to practice a little bit of freaking kayfabe?
That's gone, brother. Unfortunately,
Jesus.
It's gone now. It's gone now. It's gone
needs-
now.
Like, Chris, they need to hire us to be the writing team. And we need to go back there and hammer some asses. You sons of bitches start tweeting out what you're going to do in the next pay-per-view. I'm going to write you to the bottom of the card when you're going to job out to an 8-year-old. Son of a bitch.
Please, I think the way that things are written now are completely ridiculous. I think there's so many people that could go in there and do a much better job.
And, that's why the indies are really so important when you have the real indies run by the real, kind of a for the boys, by the boys kind of company. Like, we could talk about Florida a little bit, right, Chris? We won't talk about the big thing, but we can talk about Florida a little bit, yeah?
yeah.
That we're going to get out there and start running some shows in Tampa. And it's going to work the way we do it because we do it old school. Well, we don't even tell the boys. Like, if you were going to wrestle Chris for the title, you knew that was coming in say, 2 months. I'm not going to tell you if you're going to win or not. You're not going to know. So, hey, honey, I'm going to win the belt. Woo! Now, fuck that. Just show up and go to work. I'll tell you when you get there what's up.
So, Sarge, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I actually got a question about the Divas. Do you think the Divas are better now or back when Lita and Trish Stratus were around?
Oh, that's a
Huh.
well. I mean, I haven't really watched too much, but some of the Divas I've been watching today, I think they're getting taken a little bit more seriously these days versus back when Lita and Trish started. Now, Lita and Trish, don't get me wrong, they were like the founding fathers, I guess, of like when women's wrestling started getting taken seriously, but it's taken a while to get to where it is today. And
Really?
I think, yeah, I agree. It's all about the TNA when they first started and all that. And
That's not when they first started.
yes, it was. Yeah.
They
They're
fucked
the-
up.
no.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Are you
What,
following my
Moolah?
story?
What about
Are you guys
Moolah?
following my story?
What about Moolah and Sherry and Rockin' Robin and the girls from Glow?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Glow, TNA, that's all it was, right? Moolah and Rockin' Robin. A lot of people they would consider it like an intermission match. They'd go get, they would go get their fucking beer or whatever, their hot dogs during that match.
So you're talking about when chicks start getting more semi-main.
That's what I'm trying to say. The people
All
would take
right.
it more seriously.
All right,
And
fine.
what you call it? Yeah, just let the big boy talk for a while, Rob.
Oh, dude.
Adults talk for a
Oh,
minute.
my God. I'm going to smash you with a beer bottle.
Yeah, hit me the back of the head. Give me some
That's-
more ditches.
Yeah,
but,
well, you need a matching line on the other side of your head.
there you go. But no, bottom line is I think they're getting taken more seriously these days, the Divas, and that's my thoughts on that.
I think that Natty Neidhart came on and she saved women's wrestling. Women's wrestling was dead.
Yeah.
Nobody
Agreed.
gave it any credit during that tits and ass era of, paddle on a pole, evening gown match, sex sells. No, it doesn't. Because everybody that I knew during those matches would go take a piss or go make something to eat. They
Exactly.
didn't care about
Yep.
those matches. But then Natty shows up and she started hammering asses and retraining this girl. Then Charlotte got there and what is it, Becky Lynch? Yeah. Women's wrestling is. I mean, they were a main event finally in a pay-per-view.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
do a cage match?
they actually had an all divas pay-per-view at one point.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of back on the map now. But there was a time to where it was dead. Like once Lita and Trish, and I'm trying to think of
Ivory and Molly Holly.
Ivory and Jacqueline and Molly Holly and all these guys like retired. Then there was that little era to where it was like dead, and then all of a sudden, Becky Lynch, Sasha, Alexa, and Charlotte Flair, and all these divas started coming in, and finally it started picking back up again. And now you're seeing them more on the main event scene.
Shit, didn't one do Hell in a Cell or something like that? Like a couple
Yes.
years ago, or saw something advertisement about that.
It was
So let me-
Charlotte and Sasha.
Let me add this.
Yeah.
Ivory, call me. I love you. Call me, Ivory. That's it.
If I remember right, you had her number and you lost it.
Yeah, I lost it one of my old phones, but Ivory, listen to Wrestle Shoot. Call me. Let's do Wrestle Shoot together. Call me. Let's do anything together. Anything. Go. Okay, I'm done.
Good, because the man has the mic now. Okay, so let me speak. Thank you.
Oh, now you're gonna try to be the fucking man.
Yeah.
Everybody all of a sudden thinks they're gonna push Wild Thing aside and be the man. Let me tell you something, Jack. To quote Ric Flair, you gotta beat the man, baby.
That's right. That's right. So, you guys, right now, since you've talked about your Mount Rushmore, you've said some awesome stories that we've absolutely loved. Are you putting Ric Flair at the very tip top as the GOAT of wrestling?
No. I'm
No?
not. No, I'm not.
That's a tough one, but
I'm putting Hulk Hogan as the GOAT.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay.
yeah, Rob, I'm going to agree with you, man. I'm going to
What?
put Hulk. I'm going to put
Whoa.
no. I'm going to agree with you.
Whoa.
I almost said Rick, but you know what? I think my story about Hulk earlier about working anybody and working Muda and all that. Ric
Get
Flair's a
over
great
it.
worker. Ric Flair is probably one of the best. And what you call it, he can work anybody, but it's impressive for Hulk and what he can do. Just
And it's funny what impresses me about Hulk, because we all know that there was a time when you could throw Rick in the ring with a broom and he could work it. But they did this interview with Hulk and they said, would you say from your attendance and your merchandise sales and titles and everything that you've done, would you say the Hulk Hogan is the greatest wrestler ever? And Hulk said, well, the history books, maybe based on what you just said, might label Hulk Hogan as the greatest wrestler ever, and I appreciate that. But if you ask Terry Bollea, I'm going to tell you Ric Flair is the greatest wrestler ever. So Hogan and Flair are definitely up there sharing the number one spot.
it's close. Yeah.
It's really that one's so tough. That one is so tough because people know that Ric Flair holds the records for championships. So when you're talking about, GOAT side, are you talking about championships or are you just talking about, what he's done for the business itself?
The whole
So,
thing. The whole
No.
Yeah, because if you're going what the person's done more for the business, it's obviously Hulk Hogan because he's the one that basically put wrestling back on the map, so to say.
It
And
is.
he's the one
Yeah.
who helped Vince make it national instead of territorial.
Oh, absolutely. And we even had a question too, because when you talk about the mega powers, so people were asking, but if you want to throw the Ultimate Warrior in there or whatever, where would you rank? No, just with Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and Ric Flair and, on Mount Rushmore and everything, like you're saying, where does Warrior rank?
The garbage.
Dead last.
Yeah, you just throw Warrior overboard.
Yeah, they
Warrior was.
They were asking if he was a top 10. They were asking if he was top 10.
No,
Fuck no.
They tried to make him the number one when Hulk stepped down. They tried, and Warrior carried him for a little bit. But I don't think I think his ego, his attitude, got the best of himself and fucked himself over basically.
Let's be real. Jim Hellwig as a person was an asshole. He was always selfish. He was always kind of a bully. And you're in a locker room full of dudes like Rick Rude who will smack the paint off your face. So Warrior doesn't even apply as a great one to me. He was a WWF champion once, the Intercontinental champion twice. Shit. Marty Jannetty can wrestle circles around the Warrior.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let me ask you about your other best friend here, really quick, and Kevin Nash. So when we talk about,
okay, look. I'm just going to cut right to the chase on this. Kevin is an asshole, but he's a self-admitted asshole. Okay,
you get what you get with him, basically.
Yeah, and here's an example of the kind of guy he is. When we booked him on the show, I had come right off of a whole knee reconstruction. So I'm still running the show, but I'm walking around in a cane and a really cheap knee brace. And Nash shows up, and the part of the deal was you buy a ringside ticket, you get an autographed picture from Nash. So we let the ringsides in early, the VIPs in early, and Nash starts telling each of them, give me $10. And that pissed me off, and that pissed them off. So he pulls that, then he does his match with Warpath. Now, granted, in the semi-main, there was a problem where a strap on the bottom of the ring broke. So the ring wasn't as secure as it could be, but he still did a very lazy match. However, after all that was said and done, and the him try to muscle up on me in the hallway.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was waiting for that story because you tell it so well.
I was like, I confronted him and said, "What the hell is your problem about not signing the 8x10s?" And he gets real. You know how much I get per booking? I said, motherfucker, I don't care how much you get per booking. I care what's happening tonight in my business. Then he stands up real quick and aggressively. And at that very moment, Chris happens to be walking out of the gym into the hallway and sees it. And like when you're doing sprints in a gym and your shoes squeak, right? His shoe did that squeak as he turned and bolted over to get involved in this confrontation. So now I'm like,
boy, man.
I'm like, all right, Kev, look, dude, I know I'm hurt, but there's two of us and you got two bad knees and you need to chill out. And he sat back down and we continued the conversation. So there was funk and frustration and just headache going on. But at the end, before he leaves, he gives me a hug, says, it's good to see you again. And he goes, how long since your knee surgery? I told him it was like a week. And he reached into his gym bag and pulled out an $800 knee brace. And said, now make sure when you tell the stories about what an asshole I am, make sure you include that Kevin gave you an $800 knee brace. Okay. So yeah, Kevin is a dick, but he's not a fucking dick. You know what I mean?
He was cool.
Right,
he was cool towards the end.
So we have a little bit more time where we can finish up with a few more questions here. So we do have a question from another viewer that the question is, who has your favorite finishing move of all time? And I'll start with Chris on this one.
Who has my favorite finishing move?
Yeah, who does your favorite finisher?
Yeah.
Don't say me.
Damn, dude, I'm out of answers. Now, did that be current or like back in the day?
It doesn't matter. Anytime.
Oh man, my favorite finisher. I'm gonna fuck with Rob here a little bit because it's fun. I love Paul Orndorff's pile driver. Mr. Wonderful's pile driver. It was vicious. It looked great back in the day.
Okay, how about you, Rob?
God, I really like Rick Rude's Rude Awakening. If I'm going to pick a favorite, it's going to be the Fisherman, the Perfectplex. That'd probably be.
I was not expecting you to say that, but yeah.
Oh,
all right. So now we'll go around one more time.
The first couple of years of my career, people used to comment all the time. It's like, You look like you're going out there being Kurt Hennig, Arn Anderson, or Rick Rude. Man, pick somebody and go with them.
All right, so now we'll go around the room one more time here. Sarge, do you have any last questions?
Yeah, it's got one for Rob. It says that your favorite workers is Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Randy Savage. How was Bret your interactions with Hart and Michaels?
Where does it say that?
It actually says it on, if you go, what is it? I think it's some kind of wrestling. It's a wrestling page you click on. It has your career stats, and then underneath it says this is his favorite wrestlers of all time.
For a while, there was me and Chris both had a lot of fan-made websites. They would just put things on there. I'd be like, "Well, where'd you get that from?" Bret is another guy who always remembers your name, so I'll give him that. Bret's an asshole. Bret's a very introverted, always has something really nasty to say, but as opposed to Honky Tonk Man, he says nasty things in a hilarious way. He takes the bad and makes it funny when Bret's just got something shitty to say about everybody. But there was one particular show where after I'd met Bret a couple of times, Goldberg already kicked his head in. So he was just doing signings, and he sat in the back of this auditorium the whole show, watching all the matches and signing autographs. So I did my match with this big, giant bastard Warpath. And when you're wrestling at Warpath, there's no point in asking anybody else, how was he last week? Has he lightened up? Because no, he hasn't. You're going to wrestle at Warpath. This what was he, 6'9", Chris?
Yeah, 6'9".
Yeah, this 6'9", 320-pound Indian who just wrestled very physically. You're going to have a hard night. So I wrestled Warpath that night. I think he went over. And I go over to my little autograph table. My bell was a little bit rung, and I glanced over at Bret, and he goes, "Come here." So I walked up to him. He goes, "You did a great job tonight." And, of course, I was just like, "Oh, my God. Thank you, Bret." Because as far as work rate goes, I loved the Hitman. I loved watching the Hitman work. And then Shawn Michaels, Shawn's okay. I mean, everybody kind of already knows who Shawn and Bret, for that matter, is. So Shawn's okay. It depends on what day of the week you catch him.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, was your interactions with them the same thing with Bret and Shawn?
Yeah, Bret. I mean, Bret's very how do I say is he's gonna kind of very not say trying to say very introverted. So it's hard to really get a good like solid long conversation with him. He's nice enough, but it's gonna be very short, really, to be honest. Bret's gonna say what's on his mind, and then like boom, pause. That's it. Shawn, on the other hand, a lot more personality. Love to talk, but it depends what day you catch him. He's an addict. Thing about Shawn is like he's very real with you up front, and he's gonna tell you what it is, and his mentality is like, what's the worst thing you can do? Kick my ass? Shawn doesn't care. Like Shawn doesn't really care, but he says kick my ass. I'm still gonna talk shit. Yeah, basically, and that's real. So depends what day you catch it on, though.
All right,
was that it? Was that it? Was there another name on that list?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I think that was it. Mess around. Do you have any other final questions?
Yeah. Is there anybody from the indie scene they can make a run to the WWE that's good enough to go there currently?
We haven't really been around the indie scene for a few years. We're just now starting to get our toes wet again and start training again and get ready to get back into the ring. But we knew when Brian Cage was just a youngin' that he was going to go somewhere. When we were bouncing around traveling with Reno Scum, we knew they were going to go somewhere. It's just these guys let you know by the way they work and their attitude in the locker room. Like, we never really got to feud with Reno Scum because me and Adam Thornstone's egos just kept bouncing off each other. So it just never really panned out, but I wish we had now.
That was a great one. Brian Cage is a good one. I see him going to WWE. I do.
Oh God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Chris, who, that girl that we interviewed on Wrestle Shoot a few weeks ago.
Oh, the psycho chick. What's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name? I can't remember her name now.
Is it Shauna? Is it Shauna?
Shauna Reed. Yeah.
Shauna Reed. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched some of her gimmicks online, and she's really good. Yeah. She's really good. She doesn't have the height or the muscle mass, but that's not saying that she can't still get in. And Paloma Star, she's really good too.
Absolutely.
And I know my final thing for you is because, like we said, you guys know when somebody has the it factor. But Chris, when you worked in that 40-man garage like battle royal match or whatever, and AJ Styles was wrestling on that night, did you know that AJ Styles had the it factor? Like AJ Styles was going to make it?
Yeah, you know, I would say I knew at that point like he was going to have the it factor, but I'm not surprised where he's at now. Like that makes any sense.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because he's damn good.
I'll tell you, I was actually a little shocked. I knew AJ was going to go, and I knew Frankie was going to go. I was actually surprised when Chris Daniels got picked up so quick. Not that he's not any good. He just really didn't have a body or a look. Yeah, he's the fallen angel. He just wore a sleeveless trench coat, and that was it, with a cross on the back.
He was around a little bit longer than those guys too, and I think he had some time in. And he's a great worker, though. I mean, he was great, and I think it's one of those things with him is right place, right time.
Like we knew that American Dragon was going all the way. We knew Crash was going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Crash was. I mean, I was a rookie when Crash was pretty much getting started, or on his way to WWE. But yeah, I already knew. I got a chance to work him a couple times, and I already knew this guy's going somewhere. You just know, but yeah.
Too bad he couldn't stop marrying strippers, man.
Yeah, he loved his strippers. I tell you that.
Loved his strippers.
I can now drink all 5 of us.
So it looks like we have.
Yes.
Looks like we have one last viewer question here, and this is actually pertains to Brett and Shawn Michaels. So you probably know where I'm going with this one. This is
Do you really want to get?
Yeah,
do you really want to get me on Montreal?
Job. Yeah, and the question is, their question is, do you think that Shawn and Hebner both knew about the Montreal screw job?
Chris, can I handle this?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Montreal was a fucking work, people. Montreal was a work. Let's use our heads when we're talking about the. Did Baby Earl and Shawn know? Yeah. Same way Brett knew. Same way the ring announcer knew. Everybody knew. Okay. I'm going to pose it to everybody, but you guys can answer this. But everybody, I'm going to pose this question to you. You are working the director position in the WWF production truck. You're handling all the camera angles. You're crowned a new champion. Is the first shot you're going to go to your new champion? Or is it going to be to somebody going, WCW? Do you really think that the WWF didn't have their shit together enough to make sure Bret Hart's rant would have never made it on TV? Do you think they really would have allowed him to go around and spit in Vince's fucking face to break apart all those monitors? Really, come on, people. Montreal was a work. Whoever believes it wasn't a work is crazy. It's crazy. There is no way. If I'm running the cameras in the back and I have all my attention on Bret Hart, spitting on Shawn, breaking the equipment, WCW, that's where I'm going. I would have been fired. That's where they had handed me my ass, and there is a delay on pay-per-view. Somebody else would have been like, nope, cut. No, Montreal was a work. Now, there's only 3 people on the planet that can all the way confirm it. Fuck that. There's 100. You think Triple H didn't
Right,
know?
more.
Well, I mean, we still got both the Hebners. All right, we still got Michaels and Brett. They're still alive. Vince is still alive. Shane is still alive. Anybody can verify it, but they won't. Because that's what they do. They're workers, and they work you. And all these years later, people are still talking about Montreal. Are you kidding me? Even if it wasn't a work, who gives a shit anymore? Thanks. I feel a little better getting that out.
Yeah, they got Rob going.
Yeah.
Winding me up in hard.
I love it. All right,
Well,
and
you should see this bastard in the bar. He loves to get me worked up back when I was drinking. Let's wind Rob up and see how far he runs.
It's like a fucking toy, man. Just wind him up, man.
All right, Chris, and then one final question for you, Chris. Your final question before we call it a show is, what advice would you have for someone that wanted to get in the business?
Oh wow, shit. Fuck, have a fucking backup career.
Yes.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And understand how much it really hurts physically. Truly hurts.
Yeah, be prepared. Yeah, choose your school wisely. And I'm throwing a bunch of advice out here. And it's not all fun and games. It's not a nice little spring mat. Yeah, it fucking hurts, and it's the real shit.
I mean, really, you're taking your falls on 4-inch steel, usually 3/4-inch beams, with a little bit of padding, and then a canvas tied down so tight it mashes the padding down.
Oh, the plywood too, by the way. I forgot that.
Well, I said the planks. We're using planks.
Oh,
nowadays.
planks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then the ropes. They're not made of rope. They're steel cables like in a parking garage, people.
Yeah.
They're not ropes. They just look like ropes.
Then maybe I need to change the name of the show to Between the Steel Cables.
Yeah, we
Instead
still
of
call
Between
them
the
the
Ropes.
ropes.
Yeah.
We still call them the ropes, so keep with the ropes. Just as long as you don't change it to wrestle shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, Wrestle Shoot? Yeah, that's our new name.
Better be careful on that one, son. I know you guys are at Oregon, but we know Southwest.
We're the better.
All right.
Oh, look at Sarge. She's like, all right, what you got, son, bitch? Show me.
Yeah. You come out here, and I'll tell you what. You come out here, we're going drinking. There you go.
I can't. I'm in recovery, my friend.
I'll drink.
He'll
All right,
drink.
Chris.
I'll drive you guys.
Yeah.
There you go. That sounds good.
Yeah, you
All
don't
right.
want to get me going. I start drinking, then I find cocaine, and then the party really gets hard.
This guy fights when he drinks.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
That could end up really, really bad. But we do want to thank you guys for coming on our show. Obviously, of Between the Ropes, you guys were a pleasure to have on this show. You guys made the show. You guys made the show everything that I thought it was going to be, and much, much more. It's so great, and I cannot wait to come on Wrestle Shoot. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. So before we call it a show, too, do you guys want to give just a little bit more information on Wrestle Shoot, how to find you guys on Wrestle Shoot or whatever?
Well, it's Wrestle Shoot. 2 words pushed into one. Wrestle Shoot. We got a Facebook page called Wrestle Shoot. You can find us on all the podcast carriers. Just remember, it's one word, Wrestle Shoot. And then we have the recovery podcast, the Smells Like Hope podcast, which we delve into drug and alcohol addiction and try and shine some messages of hope out there. Jake the Snake is scheduled to appear on Smells Like Hope in April. We've had Duke the Dumpster Drosy on there, but yeah, Wrestle Shoot and Smells Like Hope, we keep those in the same family, so they're on the same pages.
Check us out.
All right, and then last but not least, you guys have any merch that you guys need to drop, or you want anybody to buy any type of merch or anything like that?
We don't want anybody to buy anything from us. We just want you to listen to our podcast and get the best you can get out of them. The merch will come when we start running shows again.
Well, I thought that maybe you guys might have some old time shirts out there that you could find somewhere. The Wild Thing, Rob Wilds, or something like that. Back from your wrestling days. I thought you might have something like that going around.
Hell no.
Or Chris Casanova.
We didn't hang on to any shirts for nostalgia's sake. If we can get $20 for it, let's get that $20.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I like it. So once again, thank you guys for being on Between the Ropes. It was a pleasure to have you on, and of course, the invite is always there if you guys to come back on whenever you absolutely want to. That invite's going to always be there.
Well, we're dropping episode 2 of the two-parter we did with Marty Jannetty next week, and then we'll work on getting you guys on the following.
That sounds good to me.
Nice.
So with all of our viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. That is the ladies' man, Chris Casanova, and he is known as the Wild Thing, Rob Wilds. And you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next Sunday for another episode of Between the Ropes.
Between the Ropes, brother. Oh, yeah.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.